I know they got their office opened over there. Ambarish was stationed there for 2 days, and also he
But
had a
Cyprus, to
lot of
best of
meetings.
my knowledge, nobody's office is
I
open
will take a
because
stock. I will take a stock,
No,
and I
what,
will talk to him.
what we'll do is that we will also have an engagement with the government, like we did in the Karnataka a couple of.
No, we are very much engaged with government. I mean, we are very much engaged with government. We had a meeting with RBI Principal Secretary, everyone, even the DC of Korba. We have done that one.
But then why this office is not still closed?
So even the government, like this, from government side, they told that there won't be any loan waiver from our side. In Korba's case, they are very candid about that one. So, but anyway, let us start this meeting.
Okay.
I mean, these are the things every time we face challenge and we come up with a better self and also stronger self. That's what microfinance's history is. We have seen. Good morning, everyone. We called this meeting, we convened this meeting on the area of climate and green initiatives, including finance, rating, everything. And what we are seeing from the association level, that many people, they are involved in it and working in different things. And we don't have at central level, possibly we don't have much knowledge about what we are doing. We should not be replicating. We should be using our whatever money we have very strategically and judiciously. So we were talking to a couple of the stakeholders, especially in NABARD. I'm not seeing CB. So we were discussing about that one, and they were asking, well, what exactly we are doing in the industry. We told them what couple of institutions are doing. They also told that, okay, fine, but let us have a meeting with all the stakeholders that we can share what exactly we are doing and how we can contribute and what shall we be doing at industry level, at the country level, what shall we be doing. This is the initial meeting of it. So this is the aggregation of the people working in this segment. And we will discuss about what we are doing and what shall we be doing, including rating, finance, capacity building, everything. So if we can introduce ourselves, then we'll also get acquainted with each other. My name is Shoibal Paul. I work with Sadhan.
Shoibal on Sangeeta?
Sangeeta is there.
Says that RK Singh from Sydney says that he has not got the link.
No, but
Sir,
he has...
already we have
Can you
shared,
send once
sir.
again? Can you send once again? He's just
Sir, in
messaged me
WhatsApp
that.
we have sent.
Yeah, I'm aware of that, and that we have sent it.
एक बार और भेज दो यार.
Sir, by
No.
mail.
Okay, you have. I'll forward what you have sent to me. RK Singh.
Yes.
So let us have a round of introduction. My name is Shoibal Paul. I work with Sadhan. I look after the industry building side. And one of the areas I also deal with at industry level, I work in the segment of climate and green financing. Mr. Momin, if you can.
Yeah. 1 minute. Yeah, you can carry on 1 minute. I'll just send this in. Okay. Right. So good morning to all. I'm Gigi Maman. I'm here with Sadhan for the last 2.5 years. And looking after the entire activities of Sadhan, including climate. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Sangeeta. I work with Sadhan and especially with Saival. Thank you.
Akhil?
Namaskar. Good morning to all. My name is Akhil Ahmed Khan. I am the Managing Director for Mitrata Financial Services.
Purvi?
Hello, good morning. I'm Purvi Bhavsar. I'm a co-founder and managing director of PEL Financial Services. We are MFI based out of Ahmedabad.
Dheeraj?
Hi everyone, I'm Dheeraj Mutreja from Rubber Foundation. We look at working with partner banks and NBFC to facilitate financing to smallholder farmers.
Agya?
Hi, my name is Agye and I'm a Deputy Director of Consulting at Agents for Impact. It's a German impact fund working in India as a rating agency and also in consultation.
Shailesh?
Hi everyone. So my name is Sailesh Chaudhary. I am an analyst at Microsoft Consulting in BFSI domain.
Anupam,
Mr. Sahu.
Sukanda?
Anupam.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Anupam. I'm from Microsafe Consulting, working currently on the development of MSMEs, which has a climate component to it as well. So yeah, looking forward to the discussion.
Devdut.
Hi everyone, Devdut here, based out of Mumbai. I work with Axion and I am a senior director for digital transformation and product development.
Shailesh.
Okay, I will come later.
Shailesh.
So I was not audible. Hello.
Yeah, you are audible now.
So hi everyone. Sailesh here from Microsoft Consulting. I work as analyst for BFSI domain.
Anupam has
Sunil.
already said. Sorry, I missed.
Sunil is
Yeah,
there.
hi. Yes,
Yeah.
Sunil Bhatt here from good morning, everyone. Hi, Gigi sir. Hi, Saibal sir. Working with Microsoft Consulting and largely in financial services and providing consulting support to microfinance as well. Thank you.
Jasprit is there.
Jasprit is there.
Hello everyone, good morning. This is Jasprit. I am the managing trustee for Assist, and I've joined here with my colleague Mukesh Sarana as well. He'll be joining in a moment, I believe.
Hi, Jasprit.
I think, Saibal sir, there is a lot of background noise behind you.
Singh Saab, are you there? RK? RK, have you joined? No. Okay.
So
Anupam, I just missed your introduction. Can you just tell me you are from Anupam?
Yeah, hi Gigi sir. I'm Anupam. I'm from Microsafe Consulting.
You're from Microsafe.
Yeah.
Ajay, Singh Saab has just joined. RK, can you just introduce yourself? We have here members from Microsafe. We have members from Access Assist. Then AFI, Dr. Agaya is there. Then MFI, Akil Khan and Purvi are there from MFI. Then Jasprit already I told. So can you just introduce yourself, Singh Saab?
Yeah. So I'm RK Singh. I head the green climate finance vertical in SIDBI, and we have been working on both the financing and development side of it, including non-financial services. We are also accredited entity of Green Climate Fund. We have mobilized 2 funds in India, and we are in process of setting a $1 billion facility for adaptation and mitigation. So a lot of development initiatives we have taken up, but we are very keen that how does it reach the last mile, and the greening of microfinance is one agenda we have been discussing with DG sir also, and so look forward to hear from participants as also we can contribute.
Sure. Sukanda Sahu from NABARD.
Yeah, good morning, sir. Good morning, all. Unfortunately, I lost the connectivity.
Okay, no issue.
I am looking after climate action and sustainability. Incidentally, our CGM could not be around, so I am lucky to be there other way. We are there in the space in climate finance. Recently, we have also launched one direct lending product for climate finance. We have been supporting the sector not only through NABARD, through our subsidiaries and training establishments as well. And Southern has been there with us, and Jijivan sir is also there. So we are looking forward to this multi-stakeholder meeting and be there with you, sir, whatever we can chip in for the sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Sahuji. So, Sahuji, we have, of course, RK Singh CGM from SIDBI. We have Microsave participants are there. There is Anupam Bajpayee is there. Then Sailesh is there. Then Sunil is there. They are all from Microsave. Jasprit is there from
Assist.
Assist. Then AGEA is from AFI, it's a German rating institution. Then from Southern, Dr. Saibal, Sangeeta, and I am there. Then anybody else I missed? Of course, from the microsafe we have. Sorry, from the microfinance institutions we have Dr. Akil Khan and Purvi from Pahel. Akil Khan is from Mitrada and Purvi is from Pahel. And Devdut, you are also from
Axion. Yeah.
you're from Axion. Okay. Two from Axion. So Devdut is from Axion. So this is what it's a good mix of participants, I would say, from representing all kind of all areas of I would say stakeholders, which includes DFIs like NABARD and SIDBI, practitioners like Mitrada and Pahel, facilitators like Sadhan, then other supporting institutions like Accessist, Axion, and yeah.
We were also expecting CEW.
And again, of course, again from the AFI. That's a good.
We were expecting the CEW. I don't know whether they told that they would be here, but there is another initiative, International Climate Initiative. So we also wanted them to be here. What exactly is happening in different countries? But anyway, doesn't matter. Maybe they will join with us, and Sangeeta will talk to them, and they will be joining. So let us understand what exactly the requirement of the market, and then what are we doing in our segment. I would like to understand the things from the demand side first, where Akil is there and Purvi is there. They are working in this segment for a long time, and they are very poised and they understand the sector very well. So in 2-3 areas, if we can jot down that what are the requirement of the sector of microfinance. This is a fast meeting. We will bring other people also this one, and we will try to develop a kind of like this industry building your industry building what do you call it, like a consortium or something like that. We will figure out a good word. So that kind of thing, that where people will be contributing and people will be start discussing, because many of us, we are doing a lot of things that nowhere it is aggregated. So we are trying to do that one. And if it is not in sync with the requirement of the field, then we'll be doing the things and it won't be having impact. Sporadic impacts will be there. So to start with, what we want to do is to understand from the demand side that what do we really need to do for this segment. Over to you, Akhil, if you can.
Sure. Thank you, Dr. Saibal. I think the agenda is very important. Maybe just to give you a terminology that what you are aiming for, we can have a community of practitioners for green finance where all the key stakeholders can come, including the ones who are taking to the last milestone, as well as the technical support agencies, as well as the the lending and the investors community. So we can call it community of practitioner where all the exchange can happen. It can start for India, and then there can be countrymen representative joining in, and then it become an international community of practice. Generally, this sustain itself by having its own little secretariat, coming with newsletters and all that. It can evolve, it can have its own roadmap. So that's one suggestion. Since you were looking for a terminology, I thought I'll share that with you. And past experience has shown it has worked beautifully well in other domains. Green finance, I think I would like to go a step back that before we talk about the demand side, what has happened is that this subject has moved very fast within the ecosystem, within the BFI space. And before even MFIs or the end borrowers could catch up with the terminologies and the jargons and the concepts, it kept evolving. So it's very important first to know that what is the supply side all about, because what we are trying to do is we are trying to catch up with the supply side. Me as a microfinance bring the word green so that I can attract the investor. My lalach, my greed is to bring the equity in. If the green is working, I'll talk green. If yellow is working, I'll talk yellow, but that's not something which is desirable. That's part one of my summation. Second part is very important, that what all exists, whether it is aligned to the ground realities or not, that feasibility assessment, I am sure microsafe consulting people are here. They must have done some studies. And that knowledge products which are already available, or have been pilot tested or not tested, or proof of concept has happened, that information is not available in a single window, in a single space. If I want to know that what products have been worked out, what products have been developed, because we all try to develop the product, and product development and testing takes a lot of time and resources, and that's where we shy away. The third is the assurance from the lending community that dedicated debt is available, because if the product is there and the supply of resources, the money is not there to further extend it to our end borrowers, then it won't make any sense. So these are the three. And also, I think from a risk point of view, what is the risk mitigation strategies or risk management around green finance? That is something which need to be done. So my first submission is to simplify this term, because we work at the grassroots level. We work with marginal farmers, we work with small farmers, we work with farmers who take land on lease. So this is our target group with whom we work. There are producers, there are aggregators, there are suppliers, three kind of entities where in the ecosystem in which we work. Somebody is growing something, somebody is buying something, and somebody is selling. And now, of course, the agri-tech comes at the end of the supply chain, which are available like Dehats or other ones, who are doing the aggregation. So we are with the producers. Basically, we work with the producer community, and they have some specific needs, but to serve those specific needs in terms of the credit support, in terms of the agronomy support, in terms of the linkages, cost of fund, I think it's very important that first we are educated and oriented about what exists in the ecosystem. And then we'll be able to see that whether this is feasible or viable in our space. And when it comes to agriculture, all MFIs have been shying away from it because, first loan waiver statement comes for the farmers, the political risk, and all this is known to everybody in this room, so I won't go into the detail of it. So that's where I brought the risk mitigation strategy, the refinancing option, the cost of fund, which always comes, these are, and we are not talking about dairy or financing a cow or a buffalo here. We are talking of really something which is related to hardcore green finance in terms of agri or agri value chain, or related products. It was good to hear somebody mention from Microsave his specialization into promoting MSMEs in the green finance, or if I'm allowed to use the word agri space or green finance. So that's another opportunity window which is there, because we have a lot of these small entrepreneurs, a small fabricator making a small machine for harvesting or for plowing, or for saving on the fuel efficiency for a small farmers, for a paddy field, or for potato growing. How these MSMEs can be promoted and supported, and the linkages happen. Not every farmer is going to purchase it, So, and then there are different models of FPOs and all those. So my request, Saibal, to is that before we go into what is the demand on, we would also like to understand what is available in the ecosystem, and then its adaptation, and of course the technical support and resources required. So just an opening remark before we go into the details of it. Thank you.
Right. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Now I will turn to Purvi. Is Purvi there?
Yes, I will. I'm very much
yes.
here.
Yeah, there. Yeah,
Yes, I'm very much here.
yeah. We
I've
would
been
like to
listening
listen
to
from
what
you.
you.
Yeah, I want to
Yes.
listen from you. That what's your demand side observations, and how do you want to take it forward?
So, Saibal, we have already piloted about 7 to 8 different climate-related products. We have experimented in agriculture, water, cattle, insurance in different space. I think we have worked with almost all the agencies who are here, whether it is Axion, Access, Microsave. We are working on a big technical assistance project right now to come up with a sustainable and scalable agriculture products in this space, which are, with climate as a background. So what we have done, and what I believe is workable is funding the small and marginal farmers for buying good quality of inputs. We have funded about 5,000 farmers in Uttar Pradesh, and our experience so far has been extremely good on that side, because the average ticket sizes are extremely small, like about 12 to 15,000, and the cycle is about 4 to 6 months for a farmer. So that has worked. So all the work that we have done, whether in terms of working on various technical assistant thing, which we have already done, and what we are in process of doing, I think 3 4 things that I see as areas which keeping in mind our expertise as MFIs, we can potentially look at exploring. The first being agri, because if 70% of our portfolio is in rural areas, can we engage with the same set of customers little better? And what we were trying to do was not putting money in the hands of the people, but paying directly to the suppliers. So, when they buy the seeds and the fertilizers and the pesticides, the entire package was created and we were directly making payment to the suppliers. So we were not putting money in the hands of farmers, and the ticket sizes are small. So that worked. And I feel this is a very scalable product, but we need to look at, the risk, because obviously every time when there is a waiver, the first thing comes is farmer. So how do we deal with those kind of risks? We also need to look at the climate risk, because when you are supplying the seeds, and if for whatever reason the seeds don't come up, or if they don't get the kind of produce, then obviously your recoveries will be at risk. So there is a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of how we can come up with a better product, and how do we cover ourselves from the external or climate or the other risks. The other thing is there is a lot of potential to work on water. We have also signed MOU with a water tech company, and we also want to explore how we can build their expertise in our credit or risk model. Because we have seen that people getting migrated in a lot of geographies during the heat wave and all. So one is we also it helps us build the model which also considers water scarcity or supply as a risk, but also as an opportunity as to how can we fund the water ATMs, can we fund the cooperatives doing, water distribution. So we have already signed MOU, but we are here to work on it really, at a ground level. The other thing is insurance. That seriously needs to be done. All sorts of insurances, the kind of heavy rainfall that we saw in Tamil Nadu or, Bihar this year, or the cyclone or drought, how do we cover our borrowers and cattle? Because, in rural areas, most people have cattle, and that is their plan B. If the agriculture doesn't work, cattle is their second option for, staying afloat. So if we can work on insurance, which could be their own life insurance, cattle, or any productive assets that they have, including their own houses. So, if we can look at something right now, the biggest challenge in insurance is the affordability, because, since the data that is available is very historical, and the severity and, the number of instances are only going up, the companies are not able to take a call and offer some affordable premiums. So this is very expensive. So how do we make it affordable, and how do we make customers? Because, when the challenge is to put the food on table today versus, the likely loss that they're going to incur because of the weather events, it's very difficult to explain that. And our own experience is that if you try and sell that as a product separately, it doesn't sell. Unless you bundle it, it doesn't sell, because nobody appreciates it. Nobody wants to even pay 500 rupees, separately and buy any sort of an insurance. So how do we work on variety of insurances? And fourth important area that we have identified is housing. So sort of affordable housing where they have a pakka roof, and, the basic things are available, whether it is toilet or pakka roof, or, this is also part of climate adaptation. So they are at least able to survive, even when there is a cyclone or heavy rainfall, and, because that is going to happen much more frequently now. So these are the four areas that we have identified as, the areas where we really want to work. Some of the things that we are struggling with or trying to figure out is the risk associated with all these products, because when you're dealing with people who are very vulnerable, you yourself becomes vulnerable. So how do we take care of the risk at an institution level, and then, risk, political, external, weather related risk? So the risk becomes very critical. And then awareness about the products within the climate customer segment, awareness and affordability. So risk, awareness, and affordability are three things that we really need to address if we want to scale this up and make an impact at a scale. So that's my thoughts from the field
Purvi, your
perspective.
other agriculture you did in UP, any specific crop or any specific, no?
We did that. We have been doing that for about 1.5 years now. And we piloted this in Bahraich, which is one of the, you know, underdeveloped kind of a district, very poor kind of a district. So we had piloted there. And this is small and marginal farmers. So per acre, their cost of, whether they did paddy, they did wheat, they did bajra. So multiple crops over a period of 3 to 4 cycles that we have funded. Uh, the ticket size comes to about 12 to 15,000, and recoveries have been fairly good because we were also working with an agri-tech company. So we were not directly doing recoveries. We got into partnership. That also worked.
But was it anything specific to climate resilient part?
Yeah, that's also my
So,
question.
yeah. So the problem that we were trying to solve was the quality of seeds available to the small farmers. Mostly they were getting duplicate seeds.
Okay.
And they also didn't know which crop to grow. And so there was a crop advisory which was bundled along with the products.
Okay. Right. So better agronomical practices.
Correct.
Right. Acha, I think Mr. R.K. Singh, Dr. R.K. Singh has a meeting to attend. So let's call him and let him hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Singh sir.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, what I would just quickly share our experience when we started green financing for MSMEs. The first thing was to remove this. Earlier speaker he also aptly placed that the issue is to match the demand and supply, and supply side has to be equally exposed and experienced to meet this criteria. So what we did was we trained with multi-booster training programs for our ZP value chain itself, by telling them that this is the green is nothing rocket science. It is simple embedding of environment and social aspects. Then bringing certain monitoring and evaluation methods and tools where we can measure GHG emission in every case, as also the energy savings wherever applicable. And the third idea was that whichever borrower or the aspirant they look for, they should be amenable to be measured such way. So that was that has worked with ZB to build up our portfolio. And second is the development work should go side by side also, because a lot of capacity building is required on the demand side to create awareness. So one project we did with SEWA and the NRTC, which is Natural Resource Defense Council and SIDBI. It is in Gujarat and Rajasthan, where we met these SEWA beneficiaries and asked them that why don't you go for EV, and then they told quite costly, so why they should opt for it. And so that is how we worked out a concept of I would call it a justified transition, where we first funded some of them through viability gap funding, created a hunger appetite, then they become the referral agent, and because people will hear their neighbors more than us. So, and then we brought in two NBFCs to look at this their expectations. Then there was a challenge of high cost funds, and then we tried to attend to it to some extent through blending. And now it is working and picking up good. But the most important thing it has helped us is to structure a program, which I mentioned at the start, which is like we have taken $200 million from Green Climate Fund, and we are topping it up with $800 million to create $1 billion facility, and that will cater to not only mitigation but adaptation as well. And a lot of things in adaptation can be woven around agri-allied activities as well. So the idea is, and then what we have worked out is we are not presently we are not prioritizing commercial banks and big banks. We are going to work with small finance banks, NBFCs and NBFC MFIs. So the idea is that we build this cadre to reach the last mile. And so
Right.
SIDBI has got 5 missions. Now these all 5 missions would continue to move and around. So energy efficiency, electrical vehicles, renewable energy, circular economy, and adaptation. So my learning is that if anybody is looking up the value chain bottom up, they need to gear up and align with this ENS requirements. Whether it is we as MFI stakeholders or the micro finance beneficiary, they are looking up to become micro entrepreneurs and then beyond. So they need to align with this, because if you have to reach beyond local market, you have to be aligned to this. The way SEBI guideline on value chain is coming up, tracking 75% of the value chain, the extended producer responsibility or the traceability. So it's good to be voluntarily aligning ourselves rather than to be compulsorily uh, dragged into that. So a lot of opportunities exist here, because the women who went for EV are today so happy. They say, I can charge two-wheeler anywhere. It's so easy to run. I need not stop at petrol pump. And so this way, if build capacity, both supply and demand side, like even on the supply side, I will share quickly and not take much time. Like we took a pool of bankers to EV Expo and made them to have a structured discussion with the uh, say battery manufacturers, battery swapping entities, the charging station people, the OEMs. And the idea was that let us understand what they need and then align our bankability or the products or the services around that. So that has helped us to structure a EV facility for two and three wheelers. And we started with a very small target, which was big then, was to have 50,000 two-wheelers and three-wheelers on road through our funding or through our partners. So we funded few NBFCs which were triple B and below rated because they were focused on this segment. And then we directly also funded. So Hamara, like we had one motto that every MSME to have EV or to use EV. So whether they do it themselves, buy it themselves, or use it from other place. So that is there. Second, a risk sharing facility is very important. And risk sharing facility gives a pat up to the banker that yes, or the lender that yes, somebody is standing behind something emerging which is not yet proven or mainstream. We are working on a risk sharing facility for nanopreneurs. And when I say nanopreneurs, the idea is that those who are moving up from livelihood to either microfinance or micro enterprise. So we are going to work on it. Almost we are there. Shortly, I think we should be coming and sharing with you all. So the idea is that we should be working and planning risk sharing facility for the entire value chain and then strengthening the value chain. So quick one from my side. So it is the green finance is nothing I would say scary. It is only we have to make it that it is very easy thing, and it would be a blend of availability of blended funds, risk sharing facility, viability gap funding, development initiative, and capacity building. So happy to share later because more on this. I had to just attend a meeting, so I requested Gigi sir that I will quickly steal some show and maybe get going.
Sorry, Gigi sir, before Dr. Singh leaves, I think the 5 points and the framework he has just mentioned is the soul of the initiative itself. And if we can build the entire program on these 5 pointers, which he just mentioned, right from risk to blended finance to viability gap funding to feasibility and technical assistance, I think that's what will help of it being taken up by the microfinance institution. I'm talking of small MFIs, and then taking it to the last milestone, I think. So please, as a follow-up, if we can design this whole initiative around all 5 components. If anyone we do and we miss out the other component, it remains as an incomplete initiative. So thank you, Dr. Singh, for this. This is very, very helpful.
Yeah, pleasure.
Okay, thanks, Singh sir.
Gigi sir, I will leave.
No,
Thank
you
you.
can be there whatever time possible. Otherwise, you can leave whenever you feel like. Okay.
Right.
I think Sahu also has a meeting at 12:30. So Sahuji, you can give your views.
Thank you, sir. Singh sir, namaste. I think sir is late. I really thanks sir for giving me this opportunity. I echo the some of the points what Singh sir also sounded, and even Ms. Purvi also talked about need for risk sharing and rather risk assessment and how we de-risk the investments of the proposal as such. And there is a need for blended funds. If you see the demand side, what we find there are, if I am allowed to classify the whole proposal or the need, like there could be a technology developer, there could be a service provider, and there could be a financer. And of course, there is end user, of course. So if we see the players in the value chain, apart from the end user, we often find that we get too much into our domain, and sometimes we miss to see the whole value chain or supply chain and see the risk associated, maybe either upside or downside. So that makes difficult for financing what we observe. So if there could be a better collaboration, like the way we are interacting, a better collaboration among different players in the value chain, it makes very sense. Otherwise, if it is a program mode, absolutely no issues. We are chipping in through our different players are chipping in through the different products. It makes not a big deal to create a market or to meet the expectation. But when we are talking about a project mode of finance or project mode of support, it makes all the sense, all the more required to have end-to-end approach. For that, and when we try to connect, be it green or climate part, there is also a need to have baseline capture in terms of indicators, and there should be clear indicators so that resources maybe we can raise through other means like green bonds or allied. So of course it adds to the cost. Nonetheless, when you design the project, it becomes all the more important that with the available information in the domain related to taxonomy, be it a green bond deposit or sovereign bond framework. Of course, Government of India is working on climate taxonomy also, where we are also a member. And we have developed our green taxonomy and we have shared. So that will be helping the ecosystem towards the green and to how to define and defend and maybe raise resources against those assets or the pipeline. We are primarily, for if you see the specifically to MFIs and NBFCs, we are primarily able to help out our finance mode to primarily through refinance. Of course, there is a equity arm through AgriSure or Lab Ventures and all that. We will be looking forward to maybe an aggregator model or hub and spoke model, where we are able to have the scale and reach out to the need of the from the demand side. So also we are trying to tap the carbon market, where we are planning to have a carbon fund. We have been able to tap GCF and adaptation fund. Besides, MDBs are there. We are working on certain proposals. We have also got a good number of projects, be it agriculture or CBG related, we have got good scope. Need to see the sector, any sector we are there. There is also, we feel there is a need to design financial instruments so that we appropriately de-risk the investment and make the cost, the venture more cost effective, and see that it is altogether green. So that's all I would like to sound. We are open to have any specific proposals besides, of course, training and capacity building. I'll take this opportunity of what Purvi ma'am was saying about the agri insurance. There are now products available in the market which caters to the peril-based insurance. So now market is opening up. It is more data-driven, more digitized. You can see whether the specific area and the associate crop for which insurance claim is made, whether it is fixed into the scheme of actually it is there or not. So a lot of digital efforts are there, and claim settlement is gradually becoming faster. So agri insurance seems to be promising because even though it looks very risky, but there is a big opportunity for the players there. So with these few words, I would like to stop here, and thanks for inviting me. I will be there up to maybe 12:30. So thanks, sir.
Sukanta, you said about some green finance NABARD is having, isn't it? So what is that? How are you planning to deploy that?
Sir, it's a window for direct lending. And there is a little trick when it comes about on lending part, we look forward to refinance window. So it will be primarily for a project or activity or the asset per se, not through like on lending mode. That is a little difficulty we have. Otherwise, other instrument, it is primarily debt. If it is equity or grant part and all that, we are trying to have like build up a blended fund, maybe something guarantee fund, which this our MFIs can tap. That we are working on it.
Okay.
No, I mean,
anybody else would like to talk? Ask anything to Sahuji, because Sahuji will be leaving at 12:30.
So I had a question, and thank you so much, Mrs. Howe, for this. On the taxonomy bit, I think that probably is the biggest was the biggest missing gap. Is the taxonomy now live, and is it available for institutions to identify what can be classified as green finance?
Unfortunately, at national level, it has not come out. Of course, it's very complex, very difficult to have a standardized. For our purpose, we have got it, and it's a dynamic document. We are further improving. Now it is primarily sector and subsector wise. It caters to the business portfolio. We are also customizing to see how support measures can also be classified as green. We have shared with RBI and Government of India, and we are hopeful that it will be coming through. But one-to-one, we can very well share, or we look forward to like a guidance document for our client RFIs also. So it will not be out of place if you can sit across and have a look. We believe that we should have a taxonomy which is in conformity with international standards, and it helps in tagging our assets as green.
Thank you. Thank you.
Presently, it is mainly for the internal use for the NABARD, I believe.
Yes, sir.
No, you have actually built up the agenda for the whole sector. Thank you, Mr. Sahu. One, you are talking about end-to-end approach. Yes, that's what we are intending to do, that end-to-end approach. And then you're talking about the proper indicators. What are the indicators of this? Then you are also talking about this, instruments. Yes, it has to be there. And then instrument means proper instrument. Purvi is talking about some instruments which they have already used, and they are, giving the right kind of outputs. We can work on that one. And what very importantly, what you are telling, and that's the genesis of this discussion, that this many things are going on, but these discussions and collaborations are not happening. So if we don't do it, then means everybody would be doing the things, and we won't be having a kind of unified thing. We cannot understand what we have contributed to the society, to the thing. So this is actually the everything of the whole set of things which we are trying to get through in this. So thank you very much. I mean, you'll be here for some time, at least 8 minutes you'll be here. It's good to hear from you once again, if it is possible. Anybody of you wants to ask anything to Mr. Sahu?
Yeah, Dr. Agay here, sir. So, Sahu sir, because in India, like we do not have carbon registry institution and also carbon audit institution. So, how you are thinking and how do you think that the carbon or the green taxonomy will work?
See, carbon framework or registry per se, Government of India is working on having a vision framework for agriculture. Similarly, Ministry of the Fisheries and Aquaculture sector also, DFH is also working on it. Initially, it is trying to tap the work on the available international registry like PERA or gold standards. The plan is that to have a possible standard here. Maybe it can be a part of the as a sub-registry to the whole carbon capture and trading system what framework government of India has already launched. It will part of it. Green taxonomy will help. It cuts across the assets, but what I was mentioning, if I am referring to it from that carbon fund, if you are remembering, see, the carbon market is very dynamic and you never know which will stand where. Now, renewable energy, for that matter, solar, has become so cost effective that there is a concern that should it be part of the carbon market, because it's basically you incentivize the investment which takes care of green power. So until the systems are in place, now we can, what we are in the initial stage, of course, what we are looking at a carbon fund, we have got a certain framework where we have, standards will be there for different assets, how much could be the carbon sequestered or avoided. If somebody can buy from the market, that means market is assured so that the fund can trade it in the existing market, be it international. So that will develop the domestic market. There is a need for pre-financing also. So these dimensions could be there in the carbon fund, which will facilitate in mobilizing the carbon market. I think, could I answer it?
Yes.
You can. Thank you very much. Who wants to tell or ask something? No.
No, I don't know.
Okay, then we can start with the others.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that.
So now once we have understood that these are the requirements, and we also understood from the DFIs what do they have for offer and how they are thinking. I mean, I would like to understand from Agya. He is from the like rating side. How prepared are we to do all these activities? Because we are in the grading, rating, all these things. How prepared are we, and where are the gaps we should be working on?
Right. So thank you. So I believe, as I think we were discussing it in 2023 also, that most of the Indian agencies are doing it, but they are not able to like comprehend and maybe showcase in the format what international development agencies are looking forward to. So whenever we are going for rating, we say that, okay, there are some compliances and there are some disclosures. So even what should be disclosed is somewhat, if we look at BRSR reporting method or the ESG rating method, some sort of information can come from there. But if we talk about, like Akhil sir was saying that it is kind of a greenwashing and we should not label it as green, what we are trying to do in green space. But the problem is whatever funds are coming from outside, if we are looking forward to get those funds, we have to be transparent and we have to be, if not compliant, at least the disclosure should happen on the green finance side. So that is the basic eligibility requirement. So if we ask anyone that, okay, are you collecting data related to that, what kind of input supplies are received by farmers? The answer is most of the MFIs are not doing it. Yes, now new MFIs or those who have some information, having a strong network with the input suppliers and some kind of association with the training institutions and other. So wherever this bundle up kind of product is there, definitely they are collecting this data and they are also showcasing this data. Now, as soon as we have this data trend for last 6 months or 1 year or 2 year, actually these institutions are getting better funding, not only in terms of funds as per se the volume of fund, but also the cost of funds. So the cost of funds can also be reduced. So when green taxonomy, when we are talking about green taxonomy, and if it is actually I didn't knew that NABARD is working on it, but that is actually one of the most important point. If somebody is working on it in India, it means in next coming years it is going to be actually adopted by different sectors in a different way. And if NABARD is working on it, definitely the rural financing options or the refinancing options or whatever money is going to farmers, definitely agriculture is going to get benefit out of it. Now, if we talk about ADB, Asian Development Bank, they have the money in the range of $502 billion. Now, without the help of NABARD, they have taken this money like 4 years, 5 years back. So the point is that Indian agencies are also directly going to these institutions via different channels, and they are getting use of this money. Why Indian MFIs are not able to get money? Because of the data transparency and because of the data trend we do not have. But I think after 2024, 2023 end, the last quarter of 2023, I believe many microfinance institutions have started building upon data. After coming of BRSR, people have understood that why reporting on environment factors or reporting of environment KPIs is very important. So I believe slowly the momentum is building up. And within this, I think rating agencies and any agencies which are into scoring of this, they are also playing an important role because many policies which are related to environment or social or anything. So these are not up to that standards which ISO is expecting or which GRI is expecting. We are simply like following the SDGs role and the sub goals. But Indian MFI should also learn from the GRI initiatives that what are the indicators and how the different sectors are being scrutinized and what are the basic eligibility criteria, what any external institution will look into as soon as we come into the country. So, for example, we were doing some analysis for MFI institution, and we were asking that, do you have a green portfolio with you? The answer was no. But as soon as we asked, okay, what is your agriculture based portfolio? They have some answer. So the means nomenclature is also getting somewhere that problem. So they are into so somebody is into a business of solar pumps, but they are not terming it as a green product. So somewhere I think that basic knowledge platform should be there where people can come back, look at it. Okay, these are the nomenclature. This means that. This can also. So I what I always feel is that institutions are doing something on environment side, but they're not able to report because they do not know how to report. They do not know whether this should be reported or not. So I believe maybe some more things can be contributed later on. But yes, this is what I wanted to tell.
Right.
Thank you very much, because I mean, one of the areas we were also discussing for a long time, that identification and nomenclature of the things. We may be doing the things, but it is not getting reported properly. And Akhil was also talking about that alignment with the requirement of the international agencies and funding, how we can align that one with our work. Because of this, data is not, our information is not there, understanding is not there. We are also not getting packaging, proper packaging is also necessary. We are not getting to do that one. Yes. And this showcasing, definitely. I mean, thank you for doing this one. I mean, for telling us, empowering us for this in this segment. I would request you afterwards, if necessary, to put some more inputs in the discussion. But before that, I would like to go to Dhiraj. Dhiraj, what's your understanding from Rabobank Foundation? You are into it, so how do you see this segment? And how are you contributing, and what could be the possible way forward?
Thank you, Mr. Saibal. First of all, I have to thank Saiban for Sadhan for organizing this virtual meet on green finance. I think it is a need of the hour to get more financing institutions, into this segment. And I, before I tell you about what we do, what we have realized is what works in this segment, in green financing. And by green financing, I think, imply here agri financing or renewable energy financing, and agri are, otherwise. What we have realized that such kind of financing cannot be on a standalone basis. There has to be an ecosystem approach. So when the financial institutions have to, go to finance these target borrowers, they do not have to work only with these borrowers, but other resource institution, other organizations that are working with these borrowers, because again, these are at the they are not that financially literate, and somebody needs to uh, guide them properly on the products and help them also navigate. Another thing which we have realized, especially in agri financing, is the value chain financing approach. It was highlighted by Ms. Purvi earlier also. You cannot just lend to farmer and expect RFU or expect the money to be utilized as it is. If you are lending to a farmer, you make sure that the disbursement happens to the input supplier. So the money is not misused, or rather the end use is clearly identified. Another thing is closed loop financing, where you work with all the stakeholders of the in the value chain, where you finance not only the input supplier, you finance the farmer, you finance the FPO, you finance the buyer. So you are actually you are aware of the whole value chain. You're working with each stakeholder, so you know where your money is going. Also, agri financing is risky. It was highlighted earlier. A blended finance approach is required, and that's what we have seen, which works out also. For financial institutions, uh, there are two risks. One is the risk itself, inherent credit risk in financing, as well as the cost of funds, which make it difficult to find less risky borrowers. So a blended finance approach can help these two solutions in helping in mitigating these two risks. Another thing is, if any financing program that has to be worked out for the financial institutions, collaboration is the way to move forward. A financing program that has collaboration with that involves collaboration with different stakeholders can achieve scale which one institution might not be able to achieve. That is something to be looked at. We as Rabo Foundation have been enabling financing to farmers, FPOs, agtech startups, agri SMEs for the last 15 years that we have been present in India with physical presence. And we have worked with many banks and NBFCs, and we have come across these issues. And our current financing programs, take care of risk by, through credit guarantees, are providing low cost financing. So we have also collaborated with other foundations in order to achieve, the scale which we would otherwise individually not have been able to achieve.
Thanks, Dhirji. In fact, my apologies when I was introducing, I missed introducing you to the members. I'm sorry for that.
No problem.
Yeah, I just wanted to know one thing. You said about you have a product, I mean, you have been financing for green activities. And blended finance is one of the solutions, you said. Are you doing anything on that? And are you working with NBFCs and NBFC MFIs?
Yes, so we are working with NBFCs and NBFCs. I can tell you about our blended finance program that we have done in partnership with IKEA Shell Foundation and USDFC. It is a 55 million loan portfolio program that is being fronted by three NBFCs, Samanati, Avanti, and Manviya, that looks at financing FPOs, agtech startups, food loss solution companies, and RE energy companies in agri. This program was started in September 2021, and it's an 8-year program. And I can say it's a perfect example of a blended finance where three foundations and an international development organization like DFC and three NBFCs have come together to finance, the requirements of farmers, FPOs, startups, and renewable energy companies in agri.
What is the third one? Avanti, Manvi, and
Samanati.
So there, what is the kind of a composition of the blended finance you you were working with?
So
How was it
this is a
structured?
55 million loan portfolio program where the three foundations and DFC are providing a 50% pari passu guarantee on the loan portfolio.
Okay.
So there's a 50% risk sharing between the NBFCs.
50%.
Yeah. Similarly, we have also done first loss guarantee programs with NBFCs to provide financing.
Okay. First loss of how much? What percentage?
It varies, depending
Varies.
on case to case, 5 to 10%,
Okay.
you can say. But I think after the new DLG guidelines have come in, everybody caps it at 5% now.
One thing that you're talking about this credit guarantee. Have you accessed or like anything you have done in credit guarantee?
We have done a lot of credit guarantee. In fact, we were the first ones to show a credit guarantee for FPO financing in 2013. And after that, we have run several standalone and portfolio guarantee programs for FPO financing as well as AgTech startups.
Okay.
Yeah, where the risk sharing is on pari passu basis or on first loss basis.
Okay. Okay.
So we heard from Purvi that Pahal is doing something on agriculture, agri-financing and all. I think
Yes, so
probably
we have just launched a financing program with Pahel
okay.
jointly.
They already have it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. We are working with Rabo also.
Very good.
We are engaged with, I think, almost everybody who's working in this space.
Akhil wants to tell something.
No, I just wanted to thank Dheeraj for sharing the details about Rabo Foundation. I've been trying to following it up. A couple of things, Dheeraj, that like, for example, and this is not a question to Rabo Foundation, it's for the discussion purpose, that when we talk of agriculture or green finance, so much of polarization has happened that the same names pop up like Samunati by default,
Yes.
and so what is happening? And then Manvia and Avanti both are not into retail lending. Avanti is a 100%
Yes.
BC portfolio. And I'm really surprised because their model itself is contactless and digital than how they are engaging with the farmers or with FPO. So I'm a little confused on that. But on the other side, Manvia, because we have a relationship with Manvia, even Purvi has, they are hardly into retail finance. Second part is, I think when the discussion note started, it was all about reaching to the last milestone and working with the farmers. Now, if this agenda has to get institutionalized within the country, and you mentioned about creating the ecosystem, I think this whole polarization has to stop. When it comes to agriculture, then we as MFIs also say, Arey, we have nothing to do with this, because Samunati will take care of it. And anything when it comes to agriculture, Samunati is the name in the country, when it comes
Yes.
to X. So I think that stereotype which has developed has to be broken to begin with. And if we have to reach out, we are a huge country, and if we have to reach out, I think inclusivity is a very important approach which has to happen. I think all institutions, including Rabo, would like to go save with known entities and easy to execute, easy to plan, low cost. But I think it's very important that we engage with more institutions and create that ecosystem. More importantly, FPO is one established model, but all don't work with FPO, and FPO itself is a questionable concept which has
Yeah.
been in the discussion, success rate of
Yes.
FPO versus failure. But working with small and marginal farmers, or with the women farmers, who are not being recognized as farmers even today, is something which has to be done. So this whole combination of the development perspective and financing has to come very together. In fact, it's very interesting to know, and this is where I think Sadhan will be playing the role of compiling the information that you are talking of. You have blended finance, you have credit guarantee schemes, but I don't think any MFI, I don't know if Pahal has already benefited out of it, has benefited out of it, because as I think Dr. Agartya mentioned, that we are already doing it, but we don't claim we are doing it, because we work with rural communities, we are into deep rural pockets, we work only with farmers, we work only on agriculture and cattle and allied activities. So I think it's very important, just a request and a submission, more for Sadhan and less for Rabo Foundation, is that first is the compilation of the information which is available, and request to institution like Rabo Foundation to go beyond Avantis and Samunatis, the apex national, international institutions. I think start your journey also from the bottom of the pyramid. I think that is
No,
important.
you are very
I
right.
just want,
And sorry.
sorry, I was just wanting to say that the last round of equity that we raised from GAVA is also a blended fund. So it is government and private, kind of a thing, which is categorically for the agriculture and, in that agri space. And a lot of our funders, the international funders, like, the Blue Orchard and all, we were the first recipient of the Climate Adaptation Fund. That is where we have set up our exclusive cattle loan branches. And we are also doing cattle insurance for 100% of those cases as a part of climate adaptation. So we have been able to raise equity and debt both on the climate side.
Yeah, and very interesting, Purvi, that we were approached by a green fund which categorically said not to finance cattle. The condition was not to finance cattle. If you want to avail this loan facility, not to finance cattle. Of course, Credit Agricole and GAVA is again an agriculture backed institution, so their funding comes for agriculture purposes. But I think it's very important that building the ecosystem, with Dheeraj used the word, I think it's very important. The spread out has to be there, and knowledge, information, dissemination, having information in a single window, and the institutions, bigger institution also has a risk appetite, so they should take risks with smaller institutions, who are working at the grassroots level, because they may not have, I'm sure the success rate is going to be much better and higher, but I think that reach out is very important. It may be more of an effort on the bigger institution, but that is very important.
I totally agree
I would
with
just
you.
like to say, Mr. Akil, you're absolutely right. And this agri financing, green financing requires more financing institutions like MFIs to come in. MFIs already work in rural communities, work with farmers, but they don't do agri financing. They kind of do it, but not really do it. And it is time that they also come into this picture to themselves, diversify their, products. So we are, very much interested to work with MFIs and see where we can work together, where our products can, be used to enable financing to small and marginal farmers.
So Dheeraj, it's good you are talking about scale. Sadhan is the place where we work in scale along with our members. It'll be very good to continue this discussion with you
Yes.
and how to do this one. And one of my interest zone is also credit guarantee. We are looking for everywhere, but we don't get credit guarantee. If we get some more insights, it will be very good. Agay wants to ask something or tell something?
Yeah, not asked, just to add that when we are talking about that how blended finance is coming to India and what kind of market they look at us as the Orchard, in last financial year, India and Caribbean was the highest income generating source for them. India was 11%. So the kind of money they are making after coming into our market is more than the global average, right? So we are not able to tap, not only because we do not know the part. Again, I'm coming back that how to report it, how to show it, how to package it. That is the only reason we are not able to get it. Otherwise, most of the Indian MFIs which are into medium segment and large segment, they are able and they are eligible to get those funds. But how many of us are approaching there and how to approach there? That is one of the larger question. I think we all understand that, and we do not know from where to start. Many agencies don't know. I think Pehel and Mufin, and there are few institutions who are able to crack that area that, okay, this is how we need to go forward and then get that fund. Similarly with Samundati. So if you see all those people who are working in Samundati, they had some connections or they had some background with the financial institution at one point in time, and that is why they know the roots how to get that fund.
I
Just
Thank you
wanted
very
to
much.
add
You are,
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're echoing Akil's thing. What Akil has told that this match is not there and how to build up. And you were also earlier talking about this, your parameters and disclosure, everything which is not available that much. And now I would like to get this access, but before that, I would like to understand from Sunil and his team that what exactly are you looking for? What's your observation, and what could be the way forward?
Yeah,
Sunil,
sure. Yeah,
okay, Sunil, please.
sure. Yeah. Thanks. I'll add a couple of points and then my colleagues, Anupam and Shailesh can also add in. I think very relevant points made by Dr. R.K. Singh and I'll not repeat some of those points. Also, some of the experiments which Purbi has been talking about, even we have been doing, right? I mean, recently we had a project where we helped women from Seva, especially Seva Federation, because they work with collectives to get access to a heat insurance product, and and it was, I mean, the uptake was good because they did not have to pay anything. Someone else paid for it. It was a concessional product. But the question is, if they had to pay for it, will they be really kind of going for it? And then there is, some kind of education and all which is required. And as part of the project, we also, what we have seen is a lot of education will also be required, because the moment you say, I mean, insurance as a product which is sort of helping people to deal with climate. I mean, even if you remove the climate angle, insurance is more of a push product that ways. And programs like index insurance in India have been successful because a large part of it is subsidized that ways. So I think insurance still continues to be a great one, and we were able to build a lot of education through innovative means, and I think that is also something which MFIs can look at. I mean, in addition to the traditional mode of training which happens in say group meetings, we can also look at more digital modes. We can maybe use WhatsApp, we can use chatbots, because these days a lot of solutions are available with the advent of Gen AI. And there are a lot of organizations, like we worked with one of the NGOs like Glyphic, and they were able to kind of build easy access to institutions, and it was like a B2B solution, and then the institution sort of gave it to their end clients. It was largely on WhatsApp and free of cost, and it was more of a interactive platform as well, where they could also ask questions. So maybe education also plays should also play a lot of role. We were also able to offer climate resistant seeds and fertilizers also to one of our clients based in Jaipur. And there, one of the challenges was, how do you make the delivery possible? Like, how do you really offer these products at the last mile? And since the partner whom we were working with had like extensive outreach in these areas, it was easy. So maybe microfinance institutions can also think of offering these kind of products. And Purbi also mentioned some of the challenges in that. But if you are able to source it from right set of people, I think you are able to get some assurance on quality as well. But can financing be designed for that? Because if the costs are low, then people can pay out of their pocket. But then if the costs are high, on the higher side, how do you kind of make available these products at the right time? Because you cannot be selling climate resilient seeds and fertilizers anytime. So there are specific times when the cropping season starts, and at that point of time you can offer that product, and then the money cannot maybe probably come through like a regular 52-week kind of a loan, because that's something which is not really farmers may not be able to kind of repay the loans in that fashion. Can we look at like a bullet kind of a repayment? So then that increases the risks which Dr. Singh was talking about. So then that brings in the element of, say, a guarantee fund. So can a guarantee fund be set in? Who will be setting up such a fund? Because Microsoft works with a lot of international donors, and within the RFPs which are coming out everywhere, whether there are ADB projects or convergence projects or any of the projects, we see a distinct angle of private sector funding as well. So they are ready to kind of provide a fund, but then they want private sector also to be involved. So for every $100 which they put in, $100 is also expected from private companies as well, and together they can design a structure like a blended finance structure or a guarantee fund of sorts. So I think these will be even though I think microfinance has been happening, but I mean, if it has to be done at a large scale to farmers, to MSMEs, there will be a learning curve, and during this learning curve there are risks. So if there are some of these blended funds where concessional capital comes in, or if there is a guarantee fund kind of a structure uh, which is built in, it is great for institutions to experiment. And Microsoft was involved in this EVRSP fund, which Dr. Singh was talking about initially when it was designed, and then there were like multiple sessions which happened in different cities, and MSc sort of helped them to do it. So, one larger point which I want to add is the power of locally led adaptation here, because finance is one part of things like credit, insurance, saving. So these are certain tools which help people to manage the climate risks. But then there could be many others as well, and which are the tools which are really required by the community. So rather than it being like a top-down approach, MSc is like a big supporter of this locally led adaptation, where the initiatives are led by the community. So you engage the community in understanding what they need, what are the requirements, right? What are the needs? What do they want to prioritize? Like, do they want a loan first? Do they want a grant first? Do they want a technical assistance first? And how do you kind of help them to design these plans? And the community is responsible, rather than someone coming from top and giving a loan and then expecting that it will solve the problem. So I think MFIs also microfinance institutions, and there may be a larger role for Sadhan to play in is, can we design like a locally led adaptation kind of a structure, which then sort of brings in a devolved climate finance that way, and the role of capacity building there becomes very, very prominent, where we are enhancing the skills, knowledge, and abilities of different stakeholders who are involved in the rural economies, be it we are talking of farmers largely, be it farmers, agri MSMEs, smaller institutions, the local authorities, communities as a whole. And then we sort of provide capacity building and help them to appreciate this, and so
Right,
it
right.
becomes a holistic solution and
Right.
not just limited to only climate finance.
Yeah.
So I think we have also built a toolkit for communities, and I think it will be out soon. And we are also building a similar one for microfinance and MSMEs as well, a toolkit for locally led adaptation. So I think if MFIs are able to kind of adopt that, we'll be also pilot testing it in Bangladesh with BRAC and maybe one more MFI. So once we do that, I think there will be a paper which will come out, and that should also help us while we go ahead.
Got your point. Yes, Purvi.
Yeah.
I actually wanted to go to you. Your response I
just
wanted
want
to hear. Yeah,
No,
please
no, I
carry
just
on.
wanted to say that, and this also will help Akhil find some of the answers. See, apart from coming up with the products, we have also developed a lot of mechanism where we are able to capture the impact and related reports. For example, we have taken ESG rating for ourselves, So last year was the first time that we took ESG rating. This year we are already in process of the second rating, and then a lot of reports which are essentially giving you a lot of insights on how to do the documentation and how to capture the impact that you are creating. So while products are important, I think the documentation and third party assessment, how to take it, which one to take it, which one helps, all those information also can be useful for the people who really want to explore this space. Because we also discovered as we moved forward, when you are so active, then you also learn. And the first time when we took the rating, it was so sad that we were like, we thought we were doing so great, but when we actually went to the third party, they told us that you are good for nothing, and then we realized that majority of the issue was with the documentation of everything that we were doing. No, so I think this could be an additional requirement, and I don't know how Sadhan can support, create awareness, and can facilitate those kind of things, which will help you. The way we take Empirica rating and lot of things. So this could be very important if you want to explore capital or the debt in this space.
And also, Purvi, when we do any intervention, when we start any intervention, we do the market survey, we do the need assessment as well. Then only we go for this product. So it is not like top down. It is much more like with experience, which data we try to, it is to respond to Sunil. Our colleagues are here, Akil is there, then Purve is there. So it is not like top down. Mostly we work with the field, we do our market survey, we try to analyze it, then we launch any product or anything. It is very much in line with aligning with the need of the people. Second thing, what we have seen in the industry, sometime our people, they understand the need, but they cannot define it properly. In that case, microfinance institutions define it properly and bring the right kind of product to them to help them. This is how we work in the sector.
I think, Dr. Saibal, this is a very important point, and I think what was mentioned by our colleague from Microsoft, Sunil, I believe, local adaptation. I think it's we are on a very risky proposition when it comes of working with farmers, and particularly I'm very concerned about these climate resilient agriculture practices without agronomy support going to the farmers, providing them with the seeds which neither the local farmers have the knowledge or the way to use it and the cost which comes along with it. So I may finance a particular seed or a particular input for which the farmer has never been trained. And I have done a work in the organic cotton sector. I have worked on the guava crop in Rajasthan. I have worked on henna. I have worked on various agriculture producers products in my different domains. And one of the major risks is it's not about financing, it's about the technical support and the capacity building of the farmer, which is a huge cost, and I don't think any microfinance institution or any single institution can bear it. So first of all, if we have to go bottom up, it's very important that we have access to the farmers, we can organize them, and a lot of technical support need to go to the farmer and not to the MFI. It need to go to the farmer. We are just the facilitators, we are the channels. Secondly, I think what Purvi mentioned today, I think Pahel took a it's also about the competitive edge and or the opportunity cost. Today, the investors look for the opportunities and then you start building an agenda, be it GAVA. I'm sitting with Credit Agricole on a debt facility. Pahel is sitting with GAVA, which is into investment, and we have the investors. And now we start institutionalizing the agenda of rating and getting ourselves rated and grading and all that. But think about the institutions, including Mitrata or even smaller than us, who hardly have any resources, who hardly have any investors, but they're working with the agriculture community. They are working in the rural area. The passion and commitment is no less. So that's where the role of Sadhan comes, which we discuss in the IT space, a collective cost and a collective sharing. Each one of us can't afford to go for ESG rating unless I have an investor sitting and I have a reporting protocols and I have certain, compliances to be met also and covenants. But at the same time, we all would like to benefit from the rating facility. I think Dr. Tripathi has very clearly mentioned to start compiling our work, what Purvi mentioned. But each one of us, can we bear the cost? No, it is very, very difficult, And that's where, can each one of us hire microsafe? No. Can each one of us hire impact for or third-party validation? No. So that's where my request to Sadhan is that it's a time, if we are talking of small and medium MFIs who are particularly bootstraps or who are working on a shoestring budget, who have very limited resources, but who have commitment and passion to start having a cost sharing initiatives. That is something need of the hour right now. And also institutions like microsave, who can, if you have the facilities of linking on a technical assistance support, we don't want the money, we need the knowledge, but we can't pay you. I can't afford microsave. I don't have the budget for it. It's difficult for me to pay out the salary to my own employees and maintain my balance sheet. And I don't have investors, so I don't have to worry about giving returns to my investors. So I'm lucky that way. So but the whole idea is that how that is going to reach to the bottom of the pyramid. So I think it's very important that more technical assistance need to come. Sadhan is at a very big advantage stage where they can mobilize the TAs. Joint TAs can be prepared with a agency like Microsave and 3 or 4, like you did for ADBTA. 10 MFIs were able to benefit, including Vichata. But I would say the TA design should be such that we can take it to the grassroots. We can take it to our beneficiary. It should not be about building the capacity only of MFI. It should be also about building the capacity of our end borrowers, our end clients, where we can directly take the capacity being input to our farmers and to our women beneficiaries, as well as to our future target client group.
Yeah, I mean, at this point of time, I would like to go to Devdut. Devdut, what's your observation? They're talking about this TA, they're talking about fund, they're talking about credit guarantee. We have heard from Microsave already. You being an international agency, what are you talking? I mean, what are you thinking? How can you support this one? This.
Thanks, Cyber. Thanks, DG and the Southern team. So I think a large part of our discussion has been around investments and climate. I claim to be an expert in neither. So whatever I say is from a very layman's point of view. But let me just tell a little bit about what Axion has been trying to do in this field. So Axion, as you know, has largely worked with MFIs and tried to improve the capacity of MFIs in the last several years, right from the 1960s. And with changing times, what we have also realized is what we are all discussing today, that you cannot deny the fact that a large part of our farmers, a large part of micro entrepreneurs who are impacted by climate, who actually work in the green climate and energy space, are financed by microfinance institution, and that is very important to acknowledge. So we have built a vertical which is looking at how access can be increased for such institutions. And right now we are looking at very opportunistic kind of model. So for example, if there is a green asset financing which is possible, and Pahel has worked with us on that, then can something be done to increase that penetration? I think from the conversation, and it was a really enlightening conversation from me. Enjoyed all the various points that were made. What clearly came out was that there is a need for identifying what can be classified as green. And while a national taxonomy, which the government has spoken about, is in the works, till that, how as a platform, somebody like Sadhan, somebody like Microsave and Axion could come together and help define something like this, which will help MFIs. So that's one. So MFIs don't change the way they work, but they're able to identify that in their portfolio what's green. The two other points that I think are that were discussed, one was around building, looking at ecosystem and trying to get the benefit to MFI customers. So for example, we spoke of climate resilient farming practices, we spoke of high yield seeds and things like that. I think that's very transformative, but in our experience, bringing that at scale is slightly challenging. So we'll have to, again, look at as a platform, we'll have to figure out that how can we ensure scale and ensure pockets where specific MFIs are able to ride on that. And the third part that we discussed is how do we actually end up benefiting the end customer and help them to tackle the vagaries of climate, which is very real today. So, for example, we've been working with MFIs. We've seen crop production gets delayed due to excessive heat. Dairy production gets impacted. So there are various things. There could be emergency loans. There could be climate link insurance, indexed insurance, etc. All of them have happened in small pockets and happened in specific experiments. So I think as a representative of the industry, Sadhan can very well try and figure out what exactly is needed and how do you scale this up and how do you make this affordable so that they don't kind of stay as isolated, but actually become large scale initiatives which we see in the industry. So that's largely my take, and I'm very happy to be a part of this conversation.
Yeah, thank you for this observation. We would like to understand more from you afterwards, after this meeting, how to access the finance. You are talking about that Axion is doing that one. All of us will be looking forward that how are you doing it? How are you helping? How will you help the industry? Now I will go finally to Mukesh. Mukesh is a representative of Access Assist, I think, Assist, and they are developing something, and they are in discussion with us for different things. One of the things is also creating a community. So Mukesh, over to you if you can. Mukesh, you are on mute.
Yes.
Now audible. Now
Am I audible?
Yeah, audible.
Yeah, I have actually bad connection and I was in and out of this meeting. Very good afternoon, everybody. Sorry. So thanks, Sebel. I'll just briefly mention what we are up to, and then hand it over to Jaspreet, because I was not present throughout the discussion, so I may end up repeating something or maybe just off the track. So what we have identified is that green finance is kind of really not one. It is not well defined as yet, and therefore anything that goes into climate change, global warming, transition, adaptation, mitigation, everything is considered green finance. So that is one which needs to be kind of clearly understood what we mean by green finance. The instruments I was hearing are available mostly at a pilot stage in most cases, and the need for finance is much, much more than what is available and what is just trickling in. The other is that the understanding of the organizations, right from the founders and the C-suite to the implementing people out on the field, is very, very different. And therefore, unless there is this standardization or at least that basic minimum understanding, even if there are products, even if there are instruments, it will be very difficult to actually um, capture this green finance market, because unless the last person out on the field uh, understands it the same way as the people sitting at the head office, otherwise there will be a misalignment between what is required and what will happen, what will end up on the books. And the third is availability of green finance. Now, from the investors and funders point of view, they hesitate because of these challenges that I just pointed out, in the capacity of the organizations and the readiness of the market. And therefore, there is perhaps a need to have some kind of a measure where we can assess the organizations, their readiness, their capacity, and persuade the investors. Maybe I don't know where it will be a rating kind of a mechanism or what. But then the investors have to have that confidence that the market is ready, the intermediaries are ready, and therefore they can invest. So I'll take a pause here, and I'll request Jaspreet to add, because again, I was in and out of this call. I'm sorry for that, for a bad connection. But
Jaspreet
this
is
is
not
what
here.
this is what we are doing. Oh, Jaspreet is not here. So then I'll any views about this or any questions, I'll be happy to address. But this is, I mean, in a nutshell, this is what we are working upon. And in fact, I wanted Jaspreet to pitch in, but unfortunately he is not here. We have developed an assessment tool, and because it is being funded by an organization and we are bound by their timeline, so it's likely to be released sometime in April. So we'll have to wait for that, but it will be available for public use partially. Maybe a second version might be a paid one, but so that is where we are. I'll take a pause here.
And you were also discussing about this community of practice or something.
I
Would you
mean,
like to tell us?
see, the idea of community of practice is exactly that the way today we are discussing is it in a smaller group. We have to have more discussions to identify the barriers and the ways to address or overcome those barriers. And those will be ranging from capacity to HR issues to reporting to measures and finance. So that is where we are saying that let there be more discussions, more forum to discuss these things and come up with suggestions, come up with solutions, so that it becomes a kind of commonly understood and commonly pursued agenda, rather than being a handful of organizations or a handful of investors talking about it in very secluded format. So that the idea of community of practice is that if we can have an anchor organization which is neutral, like Sadhan, that can host it or play the secretariat role, and then the different actors become part of it. We can have one uh, community, or we can have smaller groups within that community of practice. So that's the idea. And I think Sadhan is better placed to um, give a final shape to such ideas, because you are better placed and you have better connections than we can think of.
Okay. Thank you very much. If anybody wants to contribute anything, otherwise we will conclude. I mean, we wanted, we thought that it would be going for 45 minutes to 1 hour, but it is so engaging and so much of inputs we have got. It has been more than 1 hour we are discussing.
Jasprit wants to add something?
Jasprit is not there in the meeting.
I think
he has some meeting.
Okay.
And there's Mukesh. They work together, so he has already updated. So a couple of areas what we could understand that classification of green is very important. Everybody is talking about what is green. Then we are talking about this packaging and reporting, which is also important to build up different allies. Which most of us we are talking about. Then we have talking about this rating or something like that, grading something. Where are we standing? Then building up an ecosystem. Then product is one of the things which possibly we have talked about. Product doesn't only mean your finance. It is also viability. It is also scale. It is also capacity building of the ecosystem. Then, as Sunil was discussing about this, it should be useful for the end customer. Yes, if it is not, then the viability won't be there, and it should be affordable. So these are what we have discussed. If you want to add on something, you are welcome. Otherwise, I will request Mr. Maman. And a couple of areas we will be picking up for sure. One of this, we will organizing more meeting, and if we can do something industry in the industry. Status of the industry, microfinance industry in green or climate financing. If we can do that one, possibly it would be good to understand the institutions, understand the efficiency, understand the, whole ecosystem. It would be taking us to the next level of where do we want to work, where should we be working, and what kind of things should be there. So, this is from my end. I would hand over to Mr. Mamin for his close.
Thanks, Saibal. In fact, it was a great learning, I would say. Bringing all different stakeholders, different persons together, and having this deliberation. I would say it is a good beginning we had done. Definitely, we need to go a long way. And maybe next time when we meet, when we can plan some physical meeting also, we can also bring in some more other participants, other stakeholders who are party to that. Even we can look at even government participation if possible. So there are action points at our level. So what we will try to take it forward and see how best we can come to some kind of a common understanding and common kind of a for taking the green financing forward, what kind of joint action we can take. So we will be working closely with SIDBI and NABARD in this regard. And also we'll bring more partners so that it can have some much more meaningful results. So I thank everyone for being here. And as Saibal said, it's almost 1.5 hours now, but still everyone was here except for a couple of people who had other engagements. But good discussions have been there, and it's quite educative and knowledge. For me, it's a real educating one. So thank you so much, and let's hope to meet together again and take this agenda forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.